Hey, how you doing, YouTube? How you doing, VS Planet? My name's John Miker. I am VS Planet member name J Miker, and today I'm going to be stepping you through a quick little tutorial on using Bill Casey's hardware and software combination called VirDis. I believe that's VirDis, stands for Virtual Disk. Basically, it is a way to emulate a SCSI hard drive on your computer that the VS-2480 can communicate with. So you'll be able to write your projects onto a computer hard drive and then use a WAV export utility to get those WAV files out of your project, and you'll have them available for use in your DAW. Very, very simple to use. There's just a couple of steps, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing we need to decide is where we want to store the virtual hard disk and where we want to extract the WAV files. For this, I'm just going to go ahead and create a couple of folders. So we'll go into My Computer, C:, and I'm going to add a new folder called Virtual Hard Drive. And then we'll go into that folder, and I'm going to make a new one called WAV Export. This is where we're going to have the WAV files end up, is inside of this folder here. Okay, once that's set up, we can go ahead and start the virtual disk software. This gets the emulation up and running on your computer and basically starting it so it'll be available for the VS-2480 to communicate with. So we'll go to Start, Computer, C:. The program is installed in ASC, VirDis, and then I believe this is the version number, VirDis, and then here is the executable file right here, VirDis. Now, to make things a little easier, you can go ahead and just create a shortcut on your desktop. And as you can see, I've already done that right here. So you just double click on that to open it. The first screen that you are given is just basically a listing of the recorders that this is available to talk to. I have the VS-2480, so that's the one I'm going to select. Once you click that, it opens up another selection here where it says to select the virtual device type and then load the last used SCSI ID based emulation data. Now we're starting from scratch, so we're going to go ahead and deselect this, and we want to go ahead and select the virtual hard drive. That's what we're creating. So we click that. That opens up another page down here at the bottom that basically has a quick little setup screen. There's the hard disk emulation section. For this, it's looking for the SCSI ID that you want to assign to the virtual drive. We're going to go ahead and select SCSI hard drive 0. I don't have anything else at all hooked up to my VS-2480. If you had the external burner or any other kind of peripheral that is hooked up, it has its own unique SCSI ID, so you want to make sure that you're not using one of the SCSI IDs that are already taken up. I have nothing plugged into mine, so SCSI ID 0 is perfectly fine. Now we're going to go ahead and create the hard drive file. Now this is the actual container that basically is emulating a physical hard drive. It's just a file with a .hdd name. It's just a container. That's all it is. We're going to be using this container name later on to get into it to extract the files. So I'm going to go ahead and just click right here to select the virtual hard drive emulation file. And we're going to go to that location where we want to store it. So I have right here, My Computer, C:, virtual hard drive. If you were starting again from scratch, wherever this opens up to, you can just go to C:, we set up virtual hard drive, and right here is where we want to put it. Here is the WAV export folder that we're going to be dumping our waves into later. So we want to go ahead and select a name for this. I'm going to be calling this virtual 1. That's the name of the hard drive container file. You can see that it's going to have a .hdd file. So we'll go ahead and select that. Now it's asking for the hard drive size. This is basically the hard drive size for the entire unit. Now I think the VS-2480, the largest file that it will read is 80 gig. I'm going to go ahead and just set up a 700 meg file. You can create it, any size that you would like. You can set up more than one. That's the key to this software, is that you can create as many of these hard drive container files that you'd like, and that way you can back up as many songs from the VS-2480 that you'd like to have. As long as you have the disk space on your computer, you basically have unlimited storage space for the VS-2480. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a virtual hard disk size that's 700 megabytes. Select 700, and then we want to go ahead and load this emulation. So you click load. It says to confirm the loading of virtual1.hdd on SCSI ID 0 for hard disk emulation. Yes. Okay. For every new hard drive emulation file, the user must perform a format. Format drive, initialization on the SCSI drive just created. Basically, this is saying, okay, we went ahead and connected a hard drive to the VS-2480, but it can't read it yet because the VS-2480 has to format that drive. So that's the first step that we need to do when we pop over to the VS-2480. We'll go ahead and select OK. And that's it. You can see that the SCSI is up and running, and it's waiting for the VS-2480 to communicate with it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop over to the VS-2480, and we'll format that drive. All right, we're here on the VS-2480. I'm going to go ahead and go under Project, Project List. And you can see it's scanning. It now has found the SCSI drive on 0 that we had initially set up. But it doesn't know the size of it. That's because we haven't formatted it yet. We're going to go ahead and select right here on page. I'm sorry. You have to select it first. We'll go ahead and highlight the drive, SCSI 10. Then we'll click over to page 4 of 4, format the drive. Now, we need to select a partition size. The VS-2480 can set up these 4 partition sizes, 500 meg, 1 gig, 2 gig, 10 gig. So when we initially created the hard drive container, we could have set up an 80 gig size for it. Then when we go ahead and format it, it would set up 8 partition sizes of 10 gig. Then that would basically look like 8 sections on this hard drive of 10 gig that we could save songs to. We initially selected 700, so we're going to go ahead and select a partition size of 500. Now what this is going to create is a partition size that's roughly 500 meg, and then it will create another partition with the remainder roughly 200 meg. The physical format is off. We'll leave that off, and the surface scan we'll leave off. We'll go ahead and select OK. It says to format the drive SCSI 0, and we will select yes. Are you sure? Yes. Store the current. Okay, I created this song file called VirDis-test. It just has 3 tracks of some drum files, and I have already stored it. So I'm not going to go ahead and store it here. You can if you'd like. It may not be a bad idea the first time through if you're not sure if you've saved it yet. You could go ahead and store it. I don't need to. I've already done it, so I'm going to go ahead and select no. So now this will go ahead through the steps of formatting the virtual hard drive on the PC, and this will allow the VS-2480 to talk to it, and we'll be able to write files back and forth from it. So we'll let this sit here and do its thing. This doesn't take too long to format, just a couple of minutes. If you are using a drive that's more than, I believe it's a gig, when you set it up on the PC side, there is some steps that it does need to go through. I can go ahead and maybe show that on a different video. If you're using sizes larger than 1 gig, the virtual DIS software, there's some other steps that it does behind the scenes. It's nothing that you have to click on or anything. It just does it automatically. Those aren't going to show up on this video. I'll try to do another one later where you can go ahead and see the initial steps for the larger hard drives. All right, now we have if we go back under project list, now that the machine's restarted, we can see that we have created 2 partitions now that we can talk with. There's one that's 476 meg, SCSI 0:0, and there is 136 meg one. This is the remainder that's on SCSI 0 number 1. Now we want to go ahead and copy the song file from the VS-2480 onto SCSI 0:0. That's the 500 meg partition. So we'll go ahead and highlight the project, and then we want to go on the Roland to page 2 of 4, copy. So you select copy. It's saying the project name is VirDis-test, and then we need to select the destination. So we'll go under select drive, F4 here, select drive. And we will go ahead and select the SCSI ID 0:0. And what this is telling us is that we are going to take the project name of VirDis test, and we want to go ahead and copy it onto the destination drive of SCSI 10:0. We'll go ahead and click OK. It will say, you want to copy this? Are you sure? I select yes. Store the current. I'm not going to. It's up to you if you'd like to or not. And now that we've selected OK, this is transferring the file, the project file, from the VS-2480 onto the SCSI drive that we created on the PC, the virtual drive. One thing that I do want to mention while this is working here, the project that we have here, this project 1, is 109 meg. So we can go ahead and store this project, and that will leave us roughly 400 gig, 380 gig or so, 380 meg that is available on that partition that we can write additional songs to. Just because you write one song to a partition, it acts just like a partition on the 2480. It doesn't mean that you can't write additional songs to it. It's not a one partition, one song. If you set up a partition that's 10 gig, then you can write 10 gig worth of songs. That might be 2 songs that are 5 gig each, or 10 songs that are 1 gig each. You just want to make sure that the partition that you do create is large enough to hold your project file. We created 500 meg, and the one that we have here is 109, so there's plenty of room for the project to be stored. Okay, that's it. We have successfully copied our project over from the VS-2480 onto the PC. Just wanted to just play this a little bit and let you see. I have 3 tracks in this song file. There's track 1, 2, 3. They're just some drums. I'll just go ahead and play it a little bit. There's nothing really fancy about them. It's just some drum tracks. If they'll play, hello. Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm going to say just some drum tracks. So now we're going to go ahead, go back to the PC, and we'll be able to extract those tracks off of the PC and put them in the folder that we specified. So let me go ahead and flip back to the PC. All right, we want to go ahead and eject the medium. We're done with the hard drive right now, so we want to go ahead and just close it. So we'll hit eject the virtual medium. Confirm the ejection of virtual1.hdd. Now remember, virtual1, that's the name of the hard drive that we created. So we'll go ahead and select yes. All right. Now, you can go ahead and close this here if you want, or you can leave it open. It's completely up to you. So say you're done working on it for today, you can just shut it down. Or, like I say, you can just leave it open. You can come back anytime and extract these files. To do that, you just open the software, the VirDis software. You want to go under File. The first thing under here is the VS Wave Export Utility. So we'll open that up. Now, so this opens up this screen. The first thing we want to go to is Export To. Now this is the location that you want the WAV files to end up. So we're going to go ahead and open the folder here. And we want to go ahead and extract our files to C:, virtual hard drive. And we made that folder called Wave Export. So we're going to go ahead and export to there. Alright, so we're all set up and ready to go. So now we want to go ahead and just drag and drop the virtual1 hard drive container file that we created right onto this screen. So we go to the Start menu, Computer, C:, virtual hard drive, and here is our container right here. This is the file that has our partitions and our song file on it. So you go ahead and just click on it and drag it and drop it right over to the VS Wave Export screen. We can close this now. Now we copied our song onto partition 0, so we'll go ahead and highlight that. And you will see that our song here, VirDis, VirDis-test is here. We'll double click that. Now over here on the right hand side, these are our 3 drum tracks, 1, 2, and 3. So you want to go ahead and highlight those in red. Then we will go ahead and hit export. Now before I do that, I just want to explain that these columns are basically your tracks 1 through 24. These other columns, the 2 through the other here through 16, these are your virtual tracks. So if you have if you do have virtual tracks stored in your project file, you can go ahead and export those at the same time. But we'll go ahead, and as you can see, we now have these 3 tracks highlighted in red. We will select, we are exporting to C:, virtual hard drive, wave export. Go ahead and hit the export button. And we can see that 3 tracks were written to C:, virtual-hard drive /wave export. So we have extracted those wave files. Now we can go ahead and close everything down. We will go into My Computer, C:, Virtual Hard Drive, Wave Export, and you can see that your 3 wave files are now here and available to be imported into your DAW of choice. That's basically it. This is kind of the easiest way that I have found to get wave files off of the VS-2480. I really like this hardware-software combination. It seems to work very well, and if this is a problem that you've been having, hopefully this will solve it, and you'll be able to use your VS-2480 a lot more. Let me go ahead and give you a little more information. You can purchase VirDis at virtualscuzzy.com/VirDis. And I just wanted to say thank you for watching. My name's John Miker. If anybody has any questions, they can get a hold of me at chemicalsavior@hotmail.com, and also through VS Planet at username jmiker. Thank you for watching.